Minnesota at New Orleans, the kickoff to the 2010 NFL season. Marco, what should gamblers be thinking about?
One thing, is Brett Favre ready to trade points with Drew Brees? I say he's not.
Okay, that is the question. It's going to be hard, I think, clearly to stop New Orleans offensively. And so the question becomes, can Minnesota score? Now, Brett Favre had his best statistical year by some accounts last year. It would seem that engenders faith in his ability to be involved and succeed in a shootout. Why do you think otherwise?
Well, first of all, he's a year older. We all get older. But last year when he came to camp, much like he did
yeah, but he was a year older last year than he was the prior year.
He was, but he had a break when he started the season last year. Came into camp, got a couple weeks in, got a couple games, started the season. He, in essence, had 2 more preseason games because they started against Cleveland and Detroit. That's a huge difference.
And though Cleveland at the end of the year was playing pretty well, beginning of the year they were maybe the worst team in the NFL.
Absolutely, them in Detroit, and they got them back to back.
So the point you're making is that Favre coming into camp late now for a number of years, you would think has some negative ramifications for his early season performance. If not, why isn't Tom Brady and Peyton Manning coming in late? If there's an advantage to it or if it's neutral. Clearly, league consensus is it's not neutral, it's a negative. You're saying that negative was covered up last year because of the patsies they were playing early. Now they got maybe their toughest game of the year right off the bat, and you think the coming into camp late is going to be a big detriment.
Absolutely. They didn't need him to perform at the high level against those two teams. They're going to need him in this game if they're going to trade points with Drew Brees. I just don't think they can. So that's going to switch the attention to Adrian Peterson, who's going to have a huge game for the Vikings to try to shorten this game and keep that offense off the field of New Orleans.
That brings up a point. This is something I almost said Vince Lombardi. Mike Lombardi from NFL.com. He does a bunch of podcasts. Really sharp guy. Used to be I think he was actually GM with the Raiders, but he was high up with the Raiders. And he said that in a dome, that passing teams have much more problem than running teams. That on the snap count, that running teams, the way that it works is the crowd noise is much less of a detriment than with a passing team, which again would say Peterson, if Favre is a question mark to you, and I would agree with that, Peterson becomes the key. So now the question becomes, is he going to be enough?
I don't think so. I like the Saints in this game.
All right, so you have an official projection on this.
Official projection. I like the Saints. I have them as a 24-17 type winner in this game. Don't forget, too, it is a revenge game from the NFC Championship game last year. And if you go back to last year, and we actually were watching this game together at MGM last year, if you remember, the championship game, the better team on the field that day was Minnesota. Even though they lost, I felt they were the better team.
I would agree.
But I don't say that now. Another factor that's going to affect...
So what's changed?
What's changed is what we just talked about, but another thing is offensively...
so what we just talked is Favre early in the year is going to be a negative. But in theory, by week 8 or 9, that's not going to be the case anymore. So what else is making Minnesota, just again, beyond this game a little bit, less than they were last year, in your opinion?
In addition to Favre, he's got wide receiver issues right now. Percy Harvin's been suffering from migraines all preseason.
So even if he's able to play, you're going to have the issue of the preparation time and everything.
Continuity, timing with Favre and that. I just don't think that this team can be ready for this game, a Thursday. The hyped-up crowd for the Super Bowl champs on opening night. You know that the dome is going to be electric.
The dome's going to be rocking. Wide receiver Rice is out, and a lot of the insiders believe that's the key to all of this right now. And the Adrian Peterson, the fumbles he had last year, made it to the point he wasn't getting the carries that some would say the best running back in the league should be getting. So Peterson clearly is the key here, which segues into my point, which is I believe that this is a perfect example of a correlated parlay, which means where the side winner has an effect on the total winner. And in this case specifically, if Minnesota covers, I think there's a better than 50% chance that the game's going to go under. And if New Orleans covers, I believe there's going to be a better than 50% chance the game goes over, which even if those chances are, let's say, 60%, if New Orleans covers, it's actually a very good bet is to correlate them and put a two-teamer together. Kind of tying into that, New Orleans has gone over 16 of 22 games at home. So they're going to score their points. If Minnesota's not going to, which is what you suspect, then New Orleans really does seem to be the side. I like New Orleans in the over as a correlated parlay.
I'm going to just go with New Orleans.
All right. Well, now it's you guys' turn to get involved. You can continue the conversation in the comments section with me and Marco. And next up, we're going to be looking at Marshall, West Virginia.